You know, one of my favorite things in the world of politics is when Fox News releases a poll that actually has a different outcome from what they were obviously expecting. And that happened just a few days ago. You see, Fox News conducted this poll where they were asking people, what do you think about the plan to tax the wealthy more? Should we be taxing people more who make $1 million? Should we be taxing people even more if they make over $10 million a year? Should we follow these crazy plans laid forth by people like Senator Elizabeth Warren and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? These are bad ideas, so what do you think? Well, according to the results of this Fox News poll, majority of voters in this country said, hell yeah, that's a great idea. When can we start? So Fox News, who has been planting the seeds of how horrible these tax increases are, how undemocratic they are, how unfair they are, they've been doing it for months, they found out that their own viewers are like, no, I like that. I think millionaires and billionaires should be taxed more. They should be contributing more to the United States. Hell, they benefited the most from this society, from this country, so they should be paying more to protect it, more to make it better. The more you benefit from something, the more you owe to it, is essentially the mentality in the United States today. And this Fox News poll actually echoes what other polls in recent weeks have found. Yes, a majority of people in this country love the idea of higher marginal tax rates. They love the idea of the wealthy elite not getting their tax breaks that they got last year. They want them to pay their fair share. Now, here's the actual numbers, all right? Voters support tax increase on families making over $10 million annually by a 46-point margin, 70% in favor to 24% oppose. And they support a hike on those making over $1 million by 36 points, 65% for, 29% against. More voters disapprove, 50%, than approve, 39%, of just leaving tax rates as they are for everyone. So half the country already is not even happy with the tax rates that we currently have. They want them changed. They, the working class, the people who are living paycheck to paycheck, want to pay a little bit less, and you can't fault them for that. The wealthy elite, who take advantage of the system, who use tax loopholes to screw the government out of more money, and they hide it offshore when they can. They do whatever they can to not pay more. People want them to pay more. They want them to have to fork over more money to Uncle Sam because in addition to finding out that people want more tax hikes for the wealthy, the poll also found that the majority of people also want more government spending on things like infrastructure and health care. And it's kind of hard to do those things when the federal government is starved for cash. So overall, here's what this poll means. It means that a majority of people in this country, including those who tune in regularly to Fox News, are no longer buying the trickle-down lie. They understand that when taxes were cut last year, we were all promised a piece of the pie, and it only went to the wealthy elite. They have watched their paychecks, as all of us have, paychecks that haven't increased $1 in the last year. That is true for me, and that is true for millions of people in this country. In fact, due to health insurance increases, some of us are actually making less this year, technically, than we were the year before. Our take-home pay has declined. Our buying power is declining, but not for the wealthy elite. The American public, left and right, understand that, and they're not happy about it. And they're out there telling us very clearly that it's past time for the wealthy elite to start paying their fair share. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.